This is the plaintiff, Glenda Roseborough. She says she hired the defendant to do some work on her kitchen and bathroom countertops. And the pictures he shows of his work on Facebook look nothing like the crummy, unprofessional work the defendant did in her house. She's suing for $1,600, the amount she paid him. This is the defendant, Tory Jashawn Johnson. He says he has no idea why the plaintiff would pay him for his work if she was so unhappy with it. She never complained to him at the end of the job, and he's not returning her money because he earned it. He's accused of shoddy workmanship.
All parties, please raise your right hand. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Leon is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Roseborough, you hired Mr. Johnson to do what at your house?
He was supposed to do my countertop in my both bathrooms and my kitchen. Laminate.
And did he do it?
Yes, but there were a lot of imperfections.
Okay. Tell me about the imperfections.
Okay. Some of the countertops looks good just looking at it, but there are places where it's running under the bottom of the cabinet where paint drained down. It's real lumpy. And he said he would come back and, straighten everything up, but he didn't. And in one of my bathrooms, it just doesn't look like anything. And he took all the burnish off one of the cabinets. There's paint all over the floor and wall.
Okay, let's take a look at what we're talking about here. Okay, what is this a picture of?
That is in the bathroom on the east side of the house.
Okay, and what is it that picture depicts? What am I looking at?
I'm trying to look at it closely myself. It should be paint on the floor in between the cabinet and the commode.
Okay.
Black paint.
And what is?
Okay.
And what is this?
All that. This is a cabinet with all the varnish gone off of it.
Ooh, what happened here? Was that where someone had the wrong kind of tape on it?
I don't know. I really don't know, but it's bad. That's the floor.
Mr. Johnson, what am I looking at here? What's going on?
Okay, so, Your Honor, these are pictures of her cabinets. Yes, ma'am. I do take sole responsibility for them not being prepped right or cleaned up after. But what I do is epoxy work. I do self-leveling epoxy. So what it is those are drippage from it trying to feel the edge that was left. Now, the residue on there, those are droppings from, the epoxy itself.
Yeah, but you can't do that. You can't damage a lady's cabinets. It's kind of inherent. And when someone hires you to do countertops, they don't want new countertops on cabinetry you damaged. Like, you can't damage it in the process.
I mean, I completely
how did that
understand.
happen, and why didn't you go back and fix it?
We discussed to have it done, to come in for me to clean it up. She's a bus driver, and one of her people had COVID, so she had to go get tested. I understood that. Then she reached back out, and I was out of town for a funeral. And then we just lost communication. Next thing I know, I was getting sued.
Yeah, but, you should feel really bad that the ladies' cabinets look this way. Maybe you should have been more on top of it. What do you think was going to happen? That she was just going to sail into the sunset? I mean,
No,
I don't understand. And according to you, eventually there's no eventually. Once somebody comes to court, they really don't want you back over there. Ms. Roseborough, let me ask you a question. Did he just stop communicating with you, or did you get tired of calling him? How is it that you guys never connected he says we just never connected for me to fix it. And what's your side of that?
Well, I called. He set a date to show up. He did not come. I called, and phone just rang and rang. And I just
and
decided,
he just wouldn't answer when you'd call.
Right. So what else was I to do?
Right. Did you ever go out and see how much a carpenter would charge you to clean all this up and fix it? Because you got countertops. Right. And how much is it going to cost to clean all that up and fix it?
Ooh. Well, they're talking about $3,500 because the stripping of the floors and the restaining and stuff. And That's the reason I said I got to recoup some of my money some kind of way.
Right, but why can't this be cleaned? Why can't the tiles be cleaned? I mean,
Well,
they're just
I've
tiles.
tried with right, and I tried. I've even got down on my hands and knees and tried to scrape them up with razor blades, paint thinner, paint remover. See, I did the living room and a portion of the kitchen floor, but this won't come up. I've tried and tried.
Right. What is it you would have, if you had shown up when you should have shown up, what was it you would have taken this out with, the stuff on the tile?
I got a question.
I have a question. I just asked you a question. What's the answer to my question? First answer my question.
The answer to your question is we would have sanded them and got them taken care of in proper time.
No,
But
I'm
they're
talking
cured
about
now,
the
so
tile.
there's
You're
no
not
way-
listening to
there's
my
no way
question.
that it's not
You're
gonna
not
come up.
listening to my question. You're not listening
It's
to my
only
question.
in
I'm
the
talking about
grout.
the tile.
But
No, I'm not. It's not in the grout. You see how there's the whatever epoxy you were using is not only in the grout, it's in the tile too? Do you see that?
The grout is gray, ma'am. I see the black dot.
Yeah, I know what
That's
grout is.
my
Do you
epoxy.
see the black dots all over the
I
tile
see
as
the
well? Do
black
you see that?
dots.
Okay.
It's not
And so
all
how
over
would
the
one
tile.
take those
Yes,
out?
ma'am. They're sanded. They're normally sanded.
The
And then
tile.
they come right up. It's plastic. Epoxy
Okay.
is plastic. But once it's cured, it's cured.
But then what happens here? Like, and what about here? These big bubbles,
those
these
are
big
drippings
drops
that have to
that
be
are there?
sanded. Those are drips that have to
If
be
it's
sanded.
so easy, why didn't you just show up and do it?
She did.
'Cause you're making it sound super easy.
She had to get tested.
Yeah, but
She had
after
to get
that.
tested. She reached out, and I was out of town. I was in California. What do you want me to do?
I want you, when you come back I want you to tell her I'm in California, and then I want you to tell her I come back Thursday, and then I want you to tell her, can I be there Friday? That's what I want. Before you filed the lawsuit, how long did you wait?
She
for
talked
him
to me in
surface?
July. She talked to me in July. She was off the first
So
week
July,
in July.
August, September. Right. All those months you had to go over there and sand stuff, right? And you didn't? I guess that's your point? Okay, I got it. Do you have any estimates for cleaning this stuff up, ma'am?
Not yet, I don't.
So you're just going on what they told you?
Yes.
I'm looking at the top edge of that thing, and I can see all of the drippings all over the edge of it. I mean, it's on the countertop too, right,
It's
Ms. Roseborough?
self-leveling, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, first of all, if you say one more time, one word to me in a condescending fashion, I'm just going to turn you off, which is the equivalent of getting kicked out of court. So try to figure out a way to speak to me with a little bit more respect. When you tell me it's self-leveling, I don't really care. I want you to explain to me what that is. Were you taking advantage of the fact that maybe her vision isn't what it was when she was younger? Tell me what that is and how you would turn that kind of work over to somebody and accept payment. You tell me how this edge of this could look like you spilled an entire can of stuff and how somehow that would be a way to give it to her.
Well, if you knew the
I'm ruling in
technique, you
favor
would
of the
understand
plaintiff
that
and the
it's actually-
entire amount that she wants. $1,600 verdict for the plaintiff.
So the plaintiff is going to get the $1,600 she was seeking. You know, Mr. Johnson, you accepted full responsibility at the beginning of the lawsuit, the case, for not cleaning up properly. So you got to give her $1,600 because you didn't clean up. What do you think?
I'm used to this. I mean, what it is it's self-leveling. She didn't understand, neither did the judge. This is a craft that is done. I'm getting
couldn't
sued
clean it
because
up?
I didn't clean up.
That's right.
I didn't clean up because of a
Exactly right.
miscommunication between two grown adults. So it is what it is.
Well, it cost you $1,600. Sorry about that. That's the judge's decision. Ms. Roseborough, let me ask you a question. Do you think the $1,600 is going to be enough for you to clean up all of the mess? Or don't you know?
No, I don't, but I will accept it.
Okay, well, that's what you sued for, so that's what you're going to get.
After you pay, Marilyn, you lose all of your leverage. And all of a sudden, the phone calls where people were jumping and ready to come in and take care of everything, there's no one there, right? All of a sudden,
They've moved on to the next one.
you're lonely. You're like the Maytag repairman.
Right,
all of
you're
a sudden.
lonely.
So I have a picture here of the edge of that countertop, and I have to say that's pretty bad. There are big lines along
There are
the
lines
side.
on the countertop. I mean, it's
drips,
not
yeah.
just on the
Yeah.
bottom of it
Right.
that you just, you know,
Right.
I mean, it's a terrible way to hand over a
Right.
piece of work.
Right. And,
You know?
and to say, well, it's self-leveling. Yeah, every liquid is self-leveling.
so
it's going
what?
to seek its lowest point eventually, but you know that doesn't atone for the way this looks. And the other thing,
And the destruction of the cabinets.
Right.
So he knows how he left it.
yeah,
That's kind of really low.
Right.
Marcy wants to know this. Hey, Harvey, if I'm issued a speeding ticket by a security officer, not the police, within a gated community, do I have to pay? Well, this is not a court case if it's inside the gated community. What you have to look at is the rules and regulations within the gated community. And my guess is those rules and regulations say that if you did something wrong and the security stops you, you got to pay.